Well, well, if it isn't our old friend...
Well, mate, what an amazing year it's been, aye? T-Got kicked off to give Woods a fair shake, shining a light on his dodgy, sinful antics. But guess what? Say himself turned out to be the real snag in the Barbie. Turning his own words against him was a right challenge to his ego. Let me tell you, the plan was simple. Get folks to give him the old heave-ho. Unfollow him quicker than a kiwi chasing a worm, and steer clear like he's a dodgy jandal. T-Got reckons we've hit the nail on the head there, bro. The Branch Woodians have been exposed. But hey, this ain't the end of the road. This page is going as a tribute. And throw in a few cheeky clips this week, for the good times. Massive shout out to all you legends for backing us up and keeping the faith. Here's a little reminder, short and sweet, about what really matters, all right? Cheers, team!
Now, a major goal of this ministry, if you can call it that, is to expose believers to real pastors. I want it to be a help not only to believers to find a true shepherd of God, but also for those shepherds. I never intended it to be a hindrance to those shepherds, which I'm afraid it might be becoming. I've heard from several pastors stories about trouble being stirred up by some guy with a webcam and a YouTube account. Trouble stirred up over things that really ought not to be stirred in the congregation. Like someone will say to the pastor, in your last sermon you said this verse means X, and this guy says it means Y, and I'm so confused now. The YouTube channels taking it upon themselves to carry the burden of this person's soul, and that person's soul is not theirs to take. It has been given to that pastor. And see, I'm not a pastor. I'm just one of the guys with a camera and a YouTube account. And I absolutely do not want to be a hindrance to any true pastor's ministry. I would shut my channel down in a heartbeat and never say another word on YouTube again if I thought that were the case. But I want to always encourage everyone who watches any of my videos to find a good church led by a true pastor and join it. And I'm going to ask that as humbly as I can, and please don't take this the wrong way. If you don't belong to a church and you're a believer, I'm going to ask you to stop watching my videos. You need to find yourself a church. Now, I know what you're going to say because I've heard it before. There aren't any sound churches where I live. Well, here's what you do. You go to Google and you type in churches within 10 miles of me, and you make a list and you start visiting those churches. And if you don't find one, you type in churches within 25 miles of me and repeat the process. Then 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles. It is imperative that you find a church and a qualified pastor. And you will eventually find one. They do exist. And it might cost you a tank of gas and a whole Sunday traveling, but it's worth it. Now, I know that there are some who are not physically able to attend church and they use YouTube as a substitute. The little church my dad pastors has probably half the congregation homebound. So that's not what I'm talking about. And really, that's an extreme minority. Now, I've seen a lot of homebound people out on the golf course is all I'm saying. But that's between you and the Lord. So please, I don't mean to upset anyone, but I would rather that you not watch my videos if you don't have a pastor, because whether you admit it or not, you are entrusting the care of your soul to me, and I am not qualified to care for your soul. But there are men who are. God has provided them, and you need to find them.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.